What's up everyone, I'm Almar of almarsguides.com, and in this video here I'm going to be talking to you about the Eye of Shadow farming location in the southern portion of Winterspring. And technically you can also farm it in Blasted Lands, which I'm going to show you the location right now on the map, in the Tainted Scar where Kazak is. You can farm it here as well, but this video I'm going to be talking about the Winterspring location here in Dark Whisper Gorge. So this is going to be for Eye of Shadow, which you see here in my inventory right now. And this item is one of two items that's used in the Priest Benediction staff quest. As you can see, Benediction right there. Now, I've actually gotten 2 Eye of Shadows today from farming at this location, which is, I'm sure, extremely lucky, and somebody's going to be very upset at hearing that because they have been farming for a while and haven't even gotten one. But at least I finally got lucky in some way. It's been a while for me. So, there's 3 different types of enemies at this location, and I'm going to show you the different types of enemies, walk you through it, show you the location, and explain what you need to know. Now, the Eye of Shadow has a very low drop rate, and it only drops from 2 different enemies in this location. These Heterine Slayers and the Heterine Initiates. And these Fell Hunters right here, the Mana Stalkers, they do not drop the Eye of Shadow. Only the Slayers and the Succubuses. So this location is very big, and there are quite a few tunnels, which you see right here, that are going to dismount you, which is going to be a bit of a bummer. I actually made it pretty far through that tunnel before it dismounted me, thanks to server lag. And depending on how comfortable, I guess you could say, you are, or how good you are, or how many people you have with you will determine how far you would like to go into this Dark Whisper Gorge. The area in the back opens up quite a bit. I'll get to there in a second, but as for now, keep an eye on the direction I go and what's around me, and you'll be able to get a good idea for, what this location is like. If you have gathering professions, specifically mining, you'll find rich thorium and small thorium all throughout this area. Quite a bit of rich thorium spawns back here, which is one of the reasons that normal players like this guy right here come to this location. He also is killing a succubus, so I wonder if he's actually farming for the Eye of Shadow. So this is the best location right now for solo players, most likely, due to the fact that it's very wide open and you'll have quite a bit of distance to do whatever you would like. The entrance is pretty good too for like mages or hunters, because then you can kite the elites in through non-elites, and that'll of course make things easier. Here you have a lot less of a kiting area, which not so good for hunters, but mages, since you kind of like root kite, it'll be a little bit easier. So as for the 3 different types of enemies that you find here, the succubuses, the initiates, they mind control, immolate, shadow bolt, and I think that's it. The mana stalkers, the fell hunters, these guys mana burn. Aside from that, they mostly melee, so you'll be able to take them out pretty easily if you can interrupt their mana burns. Of course, the mana burns will only affect casters anyway. Rogues won't have much of an issue with that. But as I said before, those mana stalkers here, the fell hunters, do not drop the Eye of Shadow. They're the only enemy back here that do not drop it. The succubuses drop it, as well as the Slayers. Now, the Slayers are basically just beefed up arms warriors. They Mortal Strike, and they hit you for a buku amount of damage, as well as cleave every once in a while. So you're going to want to keep an eye out for those. Or rather, you're going to want to stay out of their melee range, almost no matter who you are, unless you're, tanking them. And you're here with a group with a healer and stuff like that. Then you'll just, eat the damage and fight them as they were normal elites. These enemies, in my experience, they actually are a little bit harder than normal elites. Like, they're going to be about on par with the enemies you find in the middle part of UBRS. Now, as I was saying earlier, rich thorium and small thorium veins are what you're going to be able to find throughout this entire area. There's a lot of people that farm here for rich thorium. They'll come down and run through this area while doing the Winterspring route, whatever route they do go through with Winterspring. And as for Herbalists, you're going to find Grom's Blood. That's basically the only thing you'll find down here. There's also a vendor in here that's an imp that sometimes sells demonic runes, as far as I know, and Grom's Blood, which might be worth buying if you see him. I'm pretty sure he has other recipes too, but I kind of forget. Now, that's basically all I can think of telling you about this location. Let's kill a few enemies so you can see how much health they have and stuff like that, how long it takes, and then I'll end the video with that. Of course, well, one thing I can mention before I end the video is, as far as other loot that you'll get here, basically nothing, which is why I haven't thought of to mention anything yet. Uh, they very rarely drop grays. They will drop demonic runes, which, I mean, that's of course a nice little bonus. As you can see, demonic runes right here. They do seem to drop demonic runes at a higher than average rate, like in comparison to, like, say the satyrs in Dire Maul East or something like that, which are also elite. These drop them way more in my experience, like 3-4 times more often than those satyrs. Fellcloth, they drop a decent amount, but it's not an insane amount. Runecloth, they also occasionally drop, as you can see here, but that's only on these slayers do I ever see the Runecloth. The succubuses, I almost never see it. These mana stalkers here, they barely ever drop loot, and if they do drop loot, it's always this thick furry mane, which is basically the only thing I've ever seen them drop. They may have dropped in like a gray here and there, but I'm not entirely sure. Mostly only see the thick furry manes. Oh, Wicked Claw, there you go. Something else aside from thick furry manes to prove me wrong. And also, you can skin their corpses for what it's worth if you're a skinner. Chances are you're probably not going to be killing these enemies anyway, depending on how long you plan to farm here. If you don't plan to farm here very long, then I would actually recommend skipping these Mana Stalkers due to the fact that they don't drop the Eye of Shadow. However, if you do plan to farm here long, all of these enemies share the same spawn point. So eventually you're just going to get overrun with Fell Hunters if you try to never kill them. If you have any other questions or if you would like to know anything else about this location, I highly recommend you check out the link in the description. It'll link to my guide, which goes into more detail about this farming location, and it's in a much more succinct format instead of just a rambling video about the location. But that's basically all there is to it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you around the next one.